Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. You have Mr. Knast right over there, and I am your host for Fantasy Bros, our weekly show of fantasy football. I'm Sam. So, let's get in it tonight. Tonight we are going to recap our draft from Sunday night that me and John here had. John, how do you think you came out of that draft?
I think I did pretty good. I wouldn't say I had the best draft, but I think I did pretty decent. I mean, it's always good when you get Derrick Henry in the first round, but that's a giveaway.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, I think, is going to be a big asset for you. I think Jonathan Taylor, my running back that I picked up with that first pick, I don't know if anybody was surprised by that.
No, I sure wasn't, but
or if Jonathan Taylor going first in the draft was a surprise to anybody, whether it was me taking them or not. I think Indianapolis right now, with sort of lackluster QBs, lackluster receiving corps, they rely heavily on that run game. Jonathan Taylor is a great running back for him.
Yeah, but I think they turned the corner this year when they bring in a veteran quarterback like Matt Ryan to counteract that lack of quarterback play the last couple of years. Now you have a future Hall of Famer at the helm and much different offensive weapons.
I agree. I think it's going to be definitely going to be interesting to see how that all plays out in Indy. I mean, Matt Ryan, like you said, future Hall of Famer. He's going to be hard to compete against. I mean, he's been in this league for how many years?
16, I think.
So, yeah. So he's a veteran for sure.
Yeah.
And he's made it to the playoffs
Countless number of times. He actually appeared in the Super Bowl with the Falcons when they should have won but choked.
Yeah, I think we all remember that.
Yeah. Good evening, Tyler. Thanks for joining the show.
What's up, Tyler?
We got K-Fob in the building. What's up, Curtis? The best show on Facebook, The Basement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's Hyper. We got Lou. What's up, Lou?
Hello, Lou.
Hello, ladies and John.
Watch yourself now.
We got my cousin Kelsey Smith in the house. Hello again, Kelsey. Nice for popping in. You're ready for tomorrow's kickoff. I am. I think I've been saying all week, Sam, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think tomorrow night's game is a Super Bowl 57 preview.
I think that it's possible.
Yep, Falcons were the 28-3 lead. Yep.
Yeah, but we all know that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick paid off the refs from that second half, threw a little more money in their pocket.
My friend Mike in the house. What's up, Mike? Thanks for joining in.
Mike?
Sam, your favorite critic in the house?
But we tonight we're gonna sit here. We're gonna go through some of these rounds, especially the early rounds. Just grading some of these picks because I think some of these picks. I think looking back, even for me, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have taken somebody else in a particular round. Maybe not gone with the wide receiver, the running back. Because I have one defense and I have one kicker. I have no backup. Wasn't paying attention. Realized that both my quarterbacks have the same bye week, so I'm gonna have to fix that. And I know other people have probably run into the same problem. So I think it's gonna be interesting. So start with the first round. John, me and you have the first two picks, and I know we've already talked about those.
Yeah, people think we're cheated, but we didn't. It was a predetermined draft order by ESPN. We didn't rig it. We promise.
I'll be honest. Apparently, there are ways to manually set it, but I have to work off my school computer right now, which gives me very limited access to things because it's a school district and they don't like people, doing things with their computer unless it's schoolwork. So,
I was right. You don't need a backup defense or kicker. So,
no, you really don't, because they account for a combined maybe 15 points.
Yeah, something like that.
But in some of those, what's up, Andrea? Good evening. But it's sometimes in those closer matchups that 15 points, they can matter.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I say 15, but we all know that that's being gracious.
Yeah,
that's high end. But so being you had the first 2 picks, we took our running backs, Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, respectively. Then we had K-Sloth with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's a bit of given the fact of his injuries last year, that's a bit of a questionable pick that high. But if he stays healthy, he's a heck of a talent. I will say that.
Yes, he is. He is a powerful running back who has good speed, good maneuverability, except when he's injured. Which, let's look at the last few years. I don't think and somebody wants to look this up and correct me if I'm wrong, please do. But I don't think he's played a full season yet.
Yeah.
So, but I think overall, it's a good pick. It's not a horrible pick.
They have a better QB this year with Baker Mayfield, I think, than they used to. But
I would definitely take Baker Mayfield over
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold any day. This is what, his third team?
Sam Darnold, second.
Jets. Yeah, I couldn't remember if there was one between the Jets and the Panthers.
I don't think so.
And I think TJ will agree with me on this. He says it all the time. Sam Darnold starts off great the first 3 weeks and then just slumps.
Yeah.
So, but I can assure you guys, nobody took Sam Darnold in the draft. None of this out of the 6 of us, none of us are that stupid.
No.
So
I do like Tyler's pick at 4 with Austin Eckler. I think Eckler has the potential to be a top 5 back in the league this year, but that offense as a whole, the Chargers, is just explosive.
Yeah.
But again, Eckler is the same way as McCaffrey, though. Like, he's good. He gets your receptions, catches, reception yards, carries, and all that. But the last couple of years, he's been banged up. So can he stay healthy for a full season? We'll see.
Well, if you look at his stats from the last few years, like you said, career-wise, he's got about 2,800 yards under his belt. Trying to get his. Don't know why it's not working here, but Austin Eckler, he's solid. I think he's last year. He played last year. He did play all 16 games.
Yeah.
Saw a total of 200 carries, which isn't bad.
No, and that's a lot better than some running backs in the league. That's for sure.
Yeah, and when it comes to rushing, he's great at holding the football. And when we're talking fantasy, when you can hold on to the football and you're not losing your those fantasy points, because that's to a fumble. And let's all face it, there are some running backs out there who just, it's like they put butter on their gloves.
Yeah, No, you're not wrong.
So, I mean, in his entire career in the regular season while rushing, he's only lost 3 fumbles.
Damn.
So, I mean, we're talking 607 carries and 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
I can't deny those numbers.
Nope.
Yeah. Then we have, I love TJ's pick. I think it's going to be a great pick. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a huge asset for Minnesota. Once again, he's also a player that can put up numbers. And he's going to come out, and I think he's going to help Minnesota hopefully go 500 plus this year.
Maybe.
I mean, he's a little more likely to fumble the ball. He's fumbled it at least once every season he's played. And over the last 3 seasons, he's fumbled it at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So, unlike Eckler, but I mean, then again, he does have about 400 more carries than Eckler. So he's running it a lot more. He's a lot more reliable. That's also a good question. Dalvin has yet to play a full season.
That's a question with any running back, really. That's a 3-down feature back is can they stay healthy for a full season because of durability issues. But
yeah. And especially, when you have a running back like Dalvin Cook who's carrying it 250 to 300 times a season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting beat up out there.
Well, there's another specific running back that has that problem too, who might be getting run out of a job soon, but I'm not going to say his name. I think you know. I think you know who I'm talking about, but
I think I do. Zeke?
Yep.
I agree. I think if Zeke doesn't pick up his work ethic, if he doesn't change his work ethic, he's going to lose his job. Because he simply I feel like Zeke simply leans. I think he's a lot like LeBron. He leans on his talent, but has very little work ethic.
Possible. Yeah.
But even LeBron doesn't go, I want more money. I'm not coming to training camp until you give it to me.
Here's a bold statement by Tyler. I mean, it could be week 10, it could be sooner. You never know.
I don't see them fully benching him like that. I think he's going to be the starter for a little bit, at least until his contract runs out.
He gets ready to retire.
I wouldn't. I don't disagree with you, Lou.
Well, that's the problem.
He looks like it.
Well, that's the problem nowadays with these running backs. They're just so beat up and abused that they don't have that longevity like they used to.
No. What would you say is the average lifespan of a running back right now? 9 to 12 years?
If you're lucky, yeah.
I mean, well, and I'm going even, once you become sort of that backup, that second string, you start, sharing runs and sharing downs.
I mean, teams draft running backs every year. It's just about who you're drafting, what round and stuff. There's a whole lot of dynamics that go to it.
Oh yeah, and plus you have different kinds of backs. You have good blocking backs who are great in the backfield for pass blocking. You have running backs who like Derek and Ezekiel Elliott's one of those. I will give him that. He's a good pass blocker.
Yeah.
For when it comes to protecting Dak, he's great. And I would take him over Pollard any day in that sense.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Well, then you have guys like Derrick Henry, who will literally just run over you, run through you, and they're impossible to stop. They're powerful.
Sure.
And then you have guys more like Dalvin, who are quick on their feet and they have the speed.
Yeah.
And so you do have, and then there's those who they're the great receiving backs, good for running those screens, those hook, short hook routes down the middle, things like that.
And Tyler will tell you the number one back at doing that. He'll show favoritism because we know Tyler being a Tampa Bay fan. He'll say Giovanni Bernard's top of the list. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So, and then we finished up the first round. Everybody but one person took a running back.
Representing the Goonie, so I saw a loose comment. Guy, show it off. He wants me to do a truffle shuffle. I'm not doing that on stream. Don't worry. PG show, I promise.
If anybody's doing the truffle shuffle, it's me.
All right, then you want the t-shirt? I'm trying to keep my clothes on, please. Thank you very much.
But then we finished off the first round with our sixth pick from Vince, who was the oddball out here, and decided to take a wide receiver in the first round. But it for him it didn't really matter because in the first pick of the second round he went with the running back. So
they're two good picks no matter what way you look at it. Sure, it's only a 6-man league, but
and he had a great pickup in Justin Jefferson. He's going to be their key target there in Minnesota. And with who's quarterback over there? Is it still Cousins?
Yep,
still Cousins. And he's been around the league, but I feel like he's been one that he never settled in.
No, he came in hot from Washington, but to get all the money he got from Minnesota, I don't think he's worth it.
No, but if he can help lead them to even a playoff berth, I think that will be success for Minnesota. Because when was the last time we saw Minnesota in the playoffs?
2017. But here's the funny part, though. They did that with a backup quarterback.
Who was?
Because Sam Bradford started the year as a quarterback, got hurt, then Case Keenum came in.
That's true.
Because the NFC Championship game that year was the battle of the backup quarterbacks. You got Case Keenum from Minnesota and Nick Foles for Philly.
Yeah, because that was the year that was the year Philly beat
the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Yes.
Yeah.
But we demolished Minnesota at home to make it to the Super Bowl 38-7.
Yeah.
That was also the year of the Minnesota Miracle with Stephon Diggs to catch versus the Saints. Sorry, Lou. On the sideline with no time left.
It's true.
I know. I know Lou that sixth in his mind. I'm sorry. I know it's a bad memory, but what happens.
Every team has one.
Yep.
Let's face it. The Jets have the butt fumble. The Saints have the Minnesota Miracle. Dallas has the Green Bay catch.
Philly has a couple of in the Meadowlands miracles.
You have a bunch, and every team has one.
I'm not disagreeing with this comment at all.
No. Not unless he can prove himself a little more, but I just don't see that happening.
It's one thing to get the guaranteed money he got, which was only roughly right around $90 million after all the contracts he signed there. There's somebody else stealing more money who's not even playing that for 11 games of the season, but I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, you want to talk about stealing money? We'll talk about Deshaun Watson. He's the one stealing money. I still think that was the stupidest trade pickup, whatever, in the history of sports.
That's Cleveland for you.
Literally, to pick up a guy is going to miss games up to possibly a whole year, and you're still going to pay this guy? Are you? And it's no wonder Cleveland's in the position it's in, and the position it has been in for the last 20 years. They have horrible management. I feel sorry for the players because some of those players, they don't deserve it. There's been some great players in Cleveland who had they started with any other organization could have been great.
Okay, well, there's a lot of players that are jumping to Cleveland because of the money aspect that they're getting.
Yeah. But I'm like, money or Super Bowl? I don't get it. But so we had Justin Jefferson. Then Vince started off the second round with the 7th overall pick, his first running back out of Pittsburgh, Najee Harris.
Beautiful pick.
That's a tough question, Luke.
I say it's going to be the toughest division in football.
I would agree.
I think all 4 teams get 10 wins. I'm calling it now. But that's just my opinion. I think all 4 teams in that division get 10 wins.
Get what?
10 wins.
Oh, I think it's possible. I think that Russell's going to come into Denver, and I think Russell Wilson's going to, I won't say work a miracle. I'm not going to say he's going to turn around the organization like Peyton Manning did. Because let's face it, Russell Wilson is not Peyton Manning.
No, but he has the weapons around him to make that team really, really good.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think that he has the weapons to be a 12-13 win team.
Yeah.
Easily. Then you have the Raiders. Derek Carr, with as old as he is. I mean, he's no Manning no Manning at when Manning was that age. He's no Brady, but I think he's still he's still a quality quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. And now you add Devontae Adams to that team. That offense just gets that more dynamic.
And Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, two great veterans to have on your team.
Yeah. Former college teammates too. If you go back to Fresno State.
Yeah.
So.
Then you have the Chargers. Chargers are going to be interesting. I think Justin Herbert. I mean, he's still young, still proving himself. I think he still has a lot to prove. What is this? His 3rd year, 4th year?
I want to say 3rd.
Something like that. So it's still got a lot to prove, but I think he's already started proving himself over the last 2 seasons. So I think once again, both the Raiders and Chargers, I agree with you, could potentially have 10-win seasons. And then you have the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid.
Yeah, he's a proven winner. Never won in Philly, though, but
he came close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because wasn't he was there in 2005 when they lost to New England, right?
Yep.
So I mean, he did better than 30 other coaches.
Yeah, he did a lot better than a man that was supposed to bring his glory, but never did, Chip Kelly. But
yeah, well, I'm just saying, that year in 2005, he did better than 30 other coaches. At least he got to the Super Bowl. And I think that's one thing I agree. The saying, is it better to make it and lose, or not make it at all?
Well, when you're a kid, you have seen him not make it all if they're going to lose. But
I do agree with Coach and with Coach Clay when he says I'd rather make it and lose and say I was there and I had the chance. Because let's face it, for most NFL players, if you're not top 20 players in the league, you usually only have 1 or 2 shots at winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, line.
Unless you're Tom Brady, who's been there 9 freaking times.
I knew his name was going to get brought up.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has to be. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Chiefs do with the loss of Tyreek Hill.
That is definitely a big loss.
I think it's definitely a big loss. But I think that it's going to be interesting. Juju, I think, is going to be a huge asset for him, along with Travis Kelce. So Mahomes still has plenty of weapons around him.
Yeah.
I think for him and for the Chiefs, it's going to be that O-line. If the O-line can, I think that if the Chiefs O-line can hold up and give Mahomes the time he needs in the pocket to throw the ball and get the ball to guys like Travis Kelce and Juju, or even Clyde out of the backfield, I think they'll be fine.
True.
And if they can get some holes for Clyde, once again, I think they'll be fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have a solid defense too. I won't say one of the league's best, but definitely a good defense. I think week 4 for them. Actually, even week 2. Week 2, they come out against the Chargers at home. So their home opener is against the division rival. That's going to be a game to watch.
Oh, always is, no matter what.
So, but to answer your question, Lou, I think if I had to choose one team to win the division, I think I'm still going to stick with Kansas City.
I'm taking a chance. I'm going with the Chargers. That's just my opinion, though.
I think it's definitely going to be close. I feel like Kansas City. I think Kansas City's going to take it, and the Chargers are going to be right behind them.
I mean, they both make the playoffs, hands down.
I agree. I think that they both make the playoffs. But that's going to definitely be the division to watch.
Oh, absolutely. It was back in the day, and all the rivalries were coming back. So,
yeah. But let's finish up this second round. Then, so it started off with Najee Harris, and then the next 5 were all wide receivers. Once again, Vince was the odd one out, picking the one running back in the second round.
Yeah.
But we got TJ with Jamar Chase out of the Bengals, with Burrow there. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah,
I think that's a solid pick. Now at the time, with the fact that you still had guys like Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuels, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp on the. I personally would have gone with Cooper Kupp over Jamar Chase.
Well, one man's loss is another man's gain.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Next pick, Tyler takes Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Which,
I mean, if you watch what he did last year, I mean, that kid proved himself.
Yeah. Heck, I took him a third of on a 10-man draft last night.
Yeah. Cooper Kupp definitely proved himself. I think that Cooper Kupp is going to be, and he's going to be one to watch over the next few years. Because the question is, now that he's proven himself, can he keep it up?
I mean, with the offense that LA has, I think he can.
Yeah. Well, it also depends on it's his attitude. Is he gonna let all this get to his head, or is he gonna be able to reel it in and keep it locked down?
Yep. No, you're not lying.
Because how many athletes over the years have we seen just implode because they let their own ego get to them?
No, you're right.
So then we had K-Foff. He stuck with his Miami Dolphins. We all know K-Foff loves his Miami Dolphins. And that's fine. He took Tyreek Hill. I personally think that was a questionable call. Tyreek Hill, as great as he is, he's more fast than anything. And when he was playing with Mahomes had the arm to just let Tyreek Hill run and then get the ball to him downfield.
No, you're not lying.
I do not see Tua having that ability.
Yeah.
So what we're going to see, and what I'm curious to see, is what kind of route runner is Tyreek Hill? Is he going to be more than just the run downfield and have the quarterback chuck it to you? Or are we going to see him running some better routes this year, learning how to get open? So I would say that one was a questionable call, but I think it was still good. Well, he's definitely going to be one to watch. But I don't see him putting up the numbers that he did with Mahomes.
I don't think so neither. But hey, with the offense that Miami's building down there, you never know.
Yeah, I just don't think, as much as I like Tua and I loved him in Alabama, but even as a college quarterback, he was not top tier. He was one of the better ones for sure, but he made a lot of mistakes that I don't think a QB at his level should have made.
True.
So then we have you, John, taking Deebo Samuels.
I mean, it's a dual threat type of wide receiver. He can get you rushing yards, receiving yards.
Yeah. Running that jet sweep is not beyond the 49ers.
No.
We saw it a couple times last year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I think he's going to be. He put up some good numbers last year.
I had him in my one league last year, and I was happy with him. So
and what's if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully he can pick up for you right where he left off last season.
I mean,
for me, I went with my final pick in the second round with Stephon Diggs. I think that he's one of the bigger targets up there in Buffalo. That's it. There's Curtis and his Miami Dolphins.
Yep, my cousin's and here with the Broncos. So
yeah, and Kelsey with the Broncos.
A lot of AFC rooting people in here.
But I went with Stephon Diggs because if you look at what he did last year, he dominated up there in Buffalo.
No, I think he's going to do it again this year.
I mean, he played all 17 games. Had 103 receptions for 1,200 yards. I mean, it wasn't his career high, but I mean, if you look at his 2020 numbers, 127 receptions for 1,500 yards. I mean, this guy can put up some numbers. This guy can catch.
Yeah, and he's going to again this year. Josh Allen loves him. So
yeah, and when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, being able to Lou and his Saints. When you have a guy like Josh Allen behind the ball, throwing to you, Josh Allen's a great quarterback. He's strong. He's accurate. And as even as young as he is, I foresee him becoming a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think he can win Buffalo their long-awaited Super Bowl within the next few years if they can keep building their team the way they are.
Could happen this year. A lot of people are predicting Buffalo to go far.
It could. And I see them going far. I mean, I see them in an AFC championship at least.
Yeah.
At least. I see them at the AFC championship this year.
I mean, they're out for redemption this year, so.
But, yeah, and even when he was in Minnesota, I mean, 18 and 19, he put up over 1,000 yards.
That's true. I mean, I'm down to help my cousin. I don't know about you, Sam, but
yeah, we can, Kelsey. That's the whole point of the show.
But my question is it with the spread or even up? Because if it's the spread, forget it.
I have no clue how to do this. What the spread is. I don't do betting, so
Sam's not a gambling man.
Yeah. So, but let's look at some of these games for this upcoming week. We'll start with the tomorrow night's game, which John, you called earlier. The preview of what could be this year's Super Bowl. That's the Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams. I think that this is going to be a great game. I think that we're going to see a lot out of Josh Allen for his first regular season game. I think we're going to see a lot out of Matt Stafford, who's returning for his 17th season?
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, he's one that I really feel bad for, and I was happy to see him win a Super Bowl last year.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it was well deserved. He made his sacrifice with 14 years in Detroit.
Yeah.
I will say that. But I foresee, for those of you who have Stafford or yeah, I think what Kelsey's talking about is one of those weekly, you do a fantasy draft, but you do it every single week.
No, she's talking about picking the different teams. Like when you
have... okay. Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win? I agree. Okay.
I'm calling the upset tomorrow. I'm going Buffalo by a field goal.
Going Buffalo by a field goal. See, I think that Matthew Stafford's going to have. I think he's going to come out and have his best game of the season. I think he's going to start out setting that bar high. I'm going to call the Rams by 10.
All right. Well, I'll try to make a list and we can see who's right at the end of the week.
So I think, but fantasy wise, I think we're going to see some points. I think we're going to see some good points out of Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs, I think, is also going to be get you some points. So if you're running Josh Allen, now I have Matthew Stafford as my one of my two quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is my starting quarterback. I'm definitely starting Jalen over Matthew, just because Jalen is going against an easier opponent.
Yeah.
And actually our next game to talk about, the Eagles versus the Lions.
My God.
Oh, Lou calling the Rams by 7. Okay. But looking at the Eagles and Lions game, I think this is an easy one to call.
You would hope so, but you never know.
You never know. But the odds of Jared Goff coming out and surprising everybody, not that great. Jamal Williams at running back.
Wide receiver, you mean? Oh, Jamal Williams. Never mind. I'm thinking Jameis Williams. Never mind.
Yeah. So Jamal Williams.
I got you.
Yeah, I hope nobody really drafted anybody from the Lions. I mean, they might have one or two big targets, but they don't have many.
Well, the one that people have been flocking to that I saw with a lot of people drafting DeAndre Swift, another big injury question.
Yeah.
And then TJ Hawkinson. And then if you're in a fantasy,
but you have Jared Goff.
Okay, but then also, I don't know if he's still here or not. My buddy Mike does a draft where you pick defensive players, and I heard Aiden Hutchinson's another big name getting drafted by Detroit this year.
Well, not too bad. I mean, it's not a bad choice. But then going to the other side of that, Eagles, Jalen Hurts, and AJ Brown, that combo, especially if you're able to get that 1-2 combo this season, Like yours truly was able to get because everybody allowed me to get it because nobody took. I just watched AJ Brown sit there, and I'm like, okay, I'll take him.
Well, I have a reason why, but go ahead.
But AJ, I think Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown combo. I think we'll see how AJ does.
I mean, just all about AJ Brown. They also got Devontae Smith coming back for a second year.
Yeah.
So a speech to Quez Watkins in the slot. They had another dynamic Zach Pascal.
Yeah, Zach. Yeah, and I think definitely the two targets that I think Jalen's going to rely on the most this year are definitely going to be that of AJ Brown and Devonta Swift.
Don't forget Dallas Goedert.
Who?
Dallas Goedert, or tight end.
Oh, yeah. Who? Was he there last year? Or was he a new pickup?
No, this is his fourth year already.
Oh, okay.
But it's his first year being a full-time starter because the last couple of years he was behind Zach Ertz.
I mean, it is Zach Ertz.
I'm not disagreeing.
So
I'm writing down on the list that you're taking Philly? Okay.
Even as a Cowboy fan, I have to realize that as much as I might want the Detroit Lions to win, let's be realistic. The likelihood is less than 20%.
Well, I read something really funny today, though, but you can finish your thought.
I'm going to go with the Eagles by at least 3 touchdowns.
Oh, geez. I will put it to you this way. The game's in Detroit, okay?
Even so.
But here's the thing. They announced today that the game is a complete sellout. First time since 2017 that Detroit sold out a game. I'm hearing reports that there's 40,000 Eagles fans are going to be there.
We sold out a game to the Eagles fans.
Wait, September 25th, everyone better tune in live because I will be down in Washington, D.C. for the Eagles versus Commanders. I almost said Redskins. Commanders. And I'll be doing a live show from the parking lot before that game starts. Live here in the Basement Show. Hope everyone tunes in. It's going to be a wild morning, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
That it is.
So I need to do a little promo.
You're good. Let's see. 49ers, Bears. I think that could be a close one.
It could be, but
I'm interested to see how Garoppolo is going to play this season.
Not playing.
Is he not?
Trey Lance.
That's right. They announced Trey Lance as a starter, isn't he?
There you go.
That's right.
But Jimmy Garoppolo did agree to restructure his contract and come back for one more year, but I still think they try to trade him mid-season.
It's going to be interesting. I am excited to see Trey Lance. This is his second year because he played behind Jimmy last year, right?
Yeah, he played sparingly. He wasn't really used that much, but
yeah, but he was on the team. Last year was his rookie year, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So it's going to be. I'm excited to see what Trey Lance can do. I mean, he did great up in Ohio State.
Ohio State?
Was it Ohio State?
North Dakota State. What team are you thinking about? You're thinking Justin Fields in Chicago. That was Ohio State.
You're right.
Sorry, guys. I study football religiously.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I'll take that one. I'll take that L.
Trey Lance actually backed up Carson Wentz his freshman year, but then took over for him. My biggest thing is Trey Lance only started 19 games career in college. Can he translate that from college to the NFL when you play in FCS Division II schools? So it's a whole different story.
Yeah, but I mean, he does have some. He does have some weapons.
Oh, absolutely.
Deebo Samuel. Is going to be a key target for him.
Yeah, you still got George Kittle.
George Kittle at tight end, who is terrific at his position. Who's their starting running back?
I think I read Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell?
Yep. I mean, he's a north-south runner, so he could get you to hard dribbling roids, but
yeah.
And they have an up-and-coming offensive line, I think so.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't know. Trey Lance, I think we'll see it after this season. Is he a flop or not?
Yeah, we'll see.
Then you have Justin Fields on the other side of the ball, from Ohio State. That's got my guys mixed up, but then you have Justin Fields, who he still has some good talent on the offensive side of the ball, but not quite that of what Trey has.
Yeah, weaponry is a big thing in the NFL nowadays. Like they have a bruising running back in David Montgomery, who's coming back. Dale Mooney, who people are really raving about this offseason. So
yeah, it's gonna see Pringle, see how he does
if he stays out of trouble.
Yeah. I guess we have St. Brown.
Yeah, St. Brown.
I can't even pronounce his first name.
No, Amon St. Brown, because he went to Detroit.
No, a Quanamois.
Oh, something like that. I think I know who you're talking about.
Played for the Packers last year. He was on the Packers team last year. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But when we're talking about Bears and the 49ers, I think
we all can agree it's San Fran.
Yeah. I think it's going to be San Fran. But I think it's going to be a closer one. 1 to 2 touchdowns.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say less than a 1-possession game.
Think so?
They always put up a good game between the two of them, no matter what.
Let's see. A couple more games. Let's see. Steelers, Bengals. Bengals.
No, that's an easy one to say.
I mean, Kenny Pickett coming into his not first season, but
no, Kenny Pickett's a rookie, but he's not. But he's not. He's a rookie this year out of Pitt, but they already came out and said Mitchell Trubisky's going to start week 1.
At least they're making them earn their.
Well, Pickett's number 2.
I'm gonna say Bengals by a decent margin.
But here's the thing: Kenny Pickett's your number 2 quarterback. Mason Rudolph was named number 3. So Trubisky struggles. You're going to see that kid sooner than you think.
Yeah,
because the whole city of Pittsburgh is behind this kid.
Well, he's a homeboy.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of your diehard football fans have been watching him for the last few years at Pitt.
Well, they also play at Heinz Field or whatever it's called now, but
it's Heinz Field.
Yeah.
So
Pittsburgh can have a good offense when they get the right pieces in line.
But I think Joe Burrow is going to have a good game against.
Every play, he's been questionable all week. Because remember, he had his appendix taken out.
That's true. So I would not. When did he have that taken out?
About a week or 2 ago.
I don't think he's playing. That's not something you're gonna. You need at least 4 or 5 weeks for that to heal, so you don't bust that wound open again. But
we'll see.
Let's see, Patriots and Dolphins. I think Mac Brown.
Mac Brown.
I mean Mac Jones, not Mac Brown. Sorry, I'm a UT guy. Mac Brown. He's a legend here. led the Texas Longhorns to some of their greatest seasons in Texas football history. So, but that's different story for a different time. Mac Jones and Tua, I just, at least in the NFL, in college, I would be calling this different. Mac versus Tua. Tua is going to win every time at Alabama, but Mac versus Tua, in the NFL, I'm calling Mac.
Well, Belichick always has their offense number, so. I mean, it's going to be a close game. They always wind up putting up a good, strong fight between the two teams, but
that it is. I think it's a good rivalry. And this is these two going at it. It's fun to watch because they were college teammates, both Mac Jones and Tua, and it was actually they were competing against each other. But I think that even though Tua had the better career at Alabama, I think Mac Jones is looking forward to a better career in the NFL.
Yeah, well, Belichick's a proven winning coach too.
That too, and I think that has something to do with it. Having a good coach behind to coach you, great. Let's see, Browns versus Panthers.
So wait, are we both saying that the Patriots are winning week 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna call Patriots week 1. But then we have let's see, Browns and Panthers.
Baker gets his revenge. I'm calling it now. TJ, I'm going for the Panthers if you're watching.
I would say so. It's going to be interesting, but I don't foresee Dobbs or Brissett lasting very long as starting quarterbacks.
I mean, Brissett is a good proven quarterback, though.
But in the NFL.
Okay, and then you also have 2 all-pro running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Plus, they added your ex-favorite wide receiver, Amari Cooper, to the mix.
That's true.
Brissett does have weapons.
But I'm still I'll agree. Especially if McCaffrey just goes off.
I think I'm picking up a trend here that Lou's picking everybody that we're not picking, but
no, I think this time I think he's just going against TJ.
I mean, I got TJ's back this week.
Colts and Texans. I'm going to go with the Colts because, I mean, you're playing the Texans. They're an embarrassment. Worst team in the NFL this season. I'm calling it now.
What, Houston?
Houston, worst record in the NFL this season.
Nope, my money's on the Jets being the worst team. Bye.
Oh, I mean, that's a good bet too, but we'll see. So I'm definitely going with the Colts over the the Texans. Then we have the Saints and the Falcons. We all know who Lou's going for on this one.
I mean, they could surprise people though. Jameis Winston is coming back.
Jameis Winston is not a bad quarterback.
No,
he's definitely not top 5. I think he'd be stretching it if you call him top 10.
But who would you have as your quarterback? Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota?
Oh, Jameis Winston any day of the week. When my choices are Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, and Marcus Mariota, I'm choosing Jameis Winston any day of the week. I mean, I feel bad for Andy.
I get that reference, Lou. And that's going years back.
But I don't. And who's the? Yeah, I mean Marcus Mariota.
I mean, they still have Atlanta has a dynamic offense. Losing Russell Gage is going to hurt them big time, but they still have Cordell Patterson.
Well, you also have to remember Atlanta lost Calvin Ridley too.
Yeah.
He's out for the season.
I was going to mention that, but losing someone like Gage, Ridley suspended, like all you really have left is Patterson and Kyle Pitts on that offense.
Yep.
And a mobile quarterback's best friend is his tight end. So if you have Kyle Pitts in your fantasy team, it might be on something.
Never know. Let's see.
So we both have the Saints.
I'm going Saints. I think Jameis Winston's going to have a good season this year. Ravens and Jets.
Wait. Winston has to stay healthy, though.
Yeah.
The only other quarterback the Saints have right now.
And out of trouble.
Yeah. All the Saints have right now on quarterback-wise is Winston and Andy Dalton. Sure, they got Taysom Hill still, but quarterback-wise, you only have Winston and Dalton.
Yeah.
Hill is not an NFL quarterback.
Then we have Zach Wilson and the Jets going up against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. That's an easy call.
Well,
if you're calling the Jets, you're a Jets fan.
Well, Zach Wilson's out the first 4 weeks.
Is he?
Yep. So it's Joe Flacco at quarterback versus Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah. Then definitely 100% it's the Ravens. Lamar Jackson over Joe Flacco any day of the week.
Any day of the week, but Joe Flacco is going to be driven that game. I'm telling you right now.
But we'll see. Then we have two of the lower end teams here, Jaguars and Commanders. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Carson Wentz can do in Washington. I mean, when you have Antonio Gibson, who's not too bad out of the backfield. Curtis Samuel out there at wide receiver. I mean, it's
my buddy Miz in the house. What's up, Miz? Thanks for joining the show.
How's it going? So I think Washington's going to be a team to eye. I don't think I think they're a long shot to win the division in the NFC East. I heavily feel that it's going to be between Dallas and Philly. I think that this division is going to solely come down to who wins the matchups between Dallas and Philly.
Facts.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that. It's solely because I think that both Philly and Dallas have the potential to have good records. And if those records are the same, but Philly takes those 2 games against Dallas, Philly takes the division. But if it's Dallas that takes those 2 games against Philly, I'm saying Philly. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens if they split them, which is very possible.
Yeah, every year those 2 teams dogfight. So.
Oh yeah, that's the Dallas-Philly rivalry is one of the bigger ones in football.
But if you actually ask people, they say that it's not the biggest rivalry in the division, though. People would say either Dallas and New York or Dallas and Washington. It's a bigger rivalry than Dallas.
Either way, it's Dallas and somebody because everybody's pissed at Dallas.
Quarter.
That is not a curse word.
I got Jacksonville winning this game, though.
But then we have Then we have
Trevor Lawrence.
There we go, Trevor Lawrence. In behind center with the Jaguars. Now, Carson Wentz has already proven himself in the NFL. He's a decent starting quarterback.
Yeah,
he's been decent on 3 different teams. 3 different teams?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, he was decent in Philly. He wasn't horrible. He was decent, but he just wasn't quite there. Then he moved to Minnesota. He was decent in Minnesota.
Indianapolis, not Minnesota.
Yeah, sorry, Indianapolis. My bad. Then he went to Then he went to Indianapolis. He was decent there, but once again, just wasn't quite enough. Now he's going to Washington, and I think coming back to a former division, I think if there's any team in this division that's going to surprise us, it might be the Commanders. Okay. It might be interesting to see if Carson Wentz coming back into the NFC East and going, I'm going to prove myself here again. I've done it once. I'm going to do it again. So we can see. But I think Trevor Lawrence has more to prove this season. He did not have the greatest season at all last year. Now, he's not to blame for that.
Urban Meyer wrecked that team.
That I felt sorry for every player in Jacksonville last year. They all got just screwed.
Yeah.
They did. So now that they have new coach, new coaching staff, I think it's going to be interesting because Trevor Lawrence, I think, has potential to be a great quarterback. Top tier.
I mean,
but he has to have the coaches to help him develop.
Yeah, well, Doug Peterson's a good start for him.
So, but plus, let's see, who does he have behind him?
He has his college teammate Travis Etienne at running back. Don't know really what wide receivers they have down there anymore. Christian Kirk. Mr. Moneybags.
Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Tim Jones. They have a lot. They like their Joneses.
I was going to say. I'm hearing Jones.
Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, and Tim Jones. And they're all wide receivers.
Leinster Jones. Oh, man. Guess what? Leinster Jones.
So, but I think I'm going to call the young buck Trevor Lawrence over. I agree, Lou. I think we should throw out last season for Trevor Lawrence. That one doesn't count. This is his rookie season.
I mean, he still put up great numbers though with what he had last year.
Yeah. Let's see, Packers and Vikings. That's honestly one of my favorite matchups. One of my favorite matchups in the NFL. The Packers and Vikings going at it, in my opinion, is so much fun to watch. Aaron Rodgers, the man is outside of the football field. I think he's lost a little bit of he's lost a few brain cells. He's taken one too many hits. But, I mean, if you look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers, there's no denying that even if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, this man is first ballot easy Hall of Fame.
I agree, but what they're lacking this year is wide receiver depth, big time.
I mean, Christian Watkins, Christian Wilson, Sammy Watkins, Alan Lazard,
and then
Romeo Dubes.
And then
Randall Cobb.
No.
But I think between Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones at running back, I mean, Aaron Jones is a proven running back. He's great. We'll see how he does. But then on the other side, you have Minnesota, who I think is going to be – I think they're going to be a tough team to beat this year. I really do. I don't foresee them going – yeah. I agree, John. I agree. I think they will. And with a veteran like Kirk Cousins, who I think like Carson Wentz has sort of proven himself to be a decent quarterback. But when you have offensive weapons like Justin Jefferson, top 5 wide receivers in the league today, Dalvin Cook, top 5 running backs in the league today, Adam Thielen, top 10 wide receivers for sure.
Don't forget they just added Jalen Rager too. Sorry.
What?
Jalen Rager's on the team now. Watch out.
Yeah.
Mr. Practice.
So it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a great matchup.
I think Minnesota pulls it out though.
I hope so. And the bonus is for Minnesota. They're playing at home.
Yep.
This is their home game against the Packers. Now, if they were playing in Green Bay at Lambeau, it might be a different story. But honestly, even when they play in Lambeau later this season, I still think a healthy Vikings team will be able to beat the Packers.
Yep.
Even in Green Bay. Then we have the Giants and Titans.
Wait, hold on. We got a bet. Lou, you forget I have family members who watch the show. I will be disowned for the rest of my life. I will count with that.
I will take that bet if John does.
I'll take it too. Lou,
as long as you're buying the jersey, Lou.
Yep, Lou, you're buying the. No, I'll wear a hat. I'm not putting that shirt on my body. I'll donate a quarter for saying yes, but on that one.
Okay, here we have Tennessee and New York playing in Tennessee. Derrick Henry, of course, I think is going to have another excellent season. I think one thing that's going to hold Tennessee back is Tannehill.
Yeah, but Tannehill better shape up because they have a young quarterback in the wings with Malik Willis that they drafted really high.
That's true.
So if Tannehill wants to be a prima donna and a Malik Willis, and then you have a whole different story.
Then you have, I think Daniel Jones is an upcoming quarterback.
Yeah. No, this is Daniel Jones' year to prove it or he's gone.
Yep. This is I agree. This is going to be, because this is what, his third year?
No, fifth.
Lou, get out of here.
Lou, you can say all you want, buddy. No, this is Daniel Jones' fifth year.
Is it his fifth year?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And he was so highly regarded out of college only because he trained with Peyton and Eli Manning that last summer before the draft at Duke.
And people say that, but do they not realize how many other quarterbacks train with Peyton and Eli? They run a passing academy. Literally, so saying, "Oh, well, he trained with Peyton," and
don't yell at me. Don't do it. I will snap.
Yeah. So once again, I think New York's strength is going to be Saquon. I think Saquon is going to be there. He has to stay healthy, though.
Yeah, I agree.
He has to stay healthy because I mean they don't have any big names at wide receiver.
Yeah,
they really don't. This was a tough one. But I think I'm going to give it to the Titans just because of the run game.
I mean, they also have the stronger offense, but
yeah. Then we have a division rivalry here between the Raiders and the Chargers. It's going to be one of our first glimpses at the AFC West and that division. I think it's going to give us a big sneak peek at how both these teams are going to do within their division. Justin Herbert, Derek Carr going at each other. Going to be a good matchup, but I'm going to give it to Herbert and the Chargers. I just think that they have the better team.
Not by much. This is going to be a one-possession field goal type of game.
I agree. Then we have the Chiefs and Cardinals.
This actually has a potential to be a really sneaky good game to watch also.
I think it's going to be good. I mean, you have two top-tier quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray. Two offenses that have the potential to be explosive. I think that's going to be a very offensive game or a very defensive game. But I think it's more likely to be an offensive game.
I agree. I can see that.
I'm foreseeing a high-scoring, close game. Then we'll move to my team and the Cowboys playing the Buccaneers. I think, and a lot of people might call me on this one, but I think that the Cowboys can actually beat the Buccaneers this year.
I mean, they played them the best last year. I will give you that.
Out of all the games, out of all the Bucks close games, I think the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys learned their lesson. You don't give Tom Brady back the ball with any time on the clock because you will lose.
Miz taking Tampa Bay. Well, Miz is a friend of mine. I actually talked with him in a group chat off stream. Well, all Eagles fans, so I can see why he's saying that. Go Bucks. But
I'm going to call Cowboys.
Lou's agreeing with you.
I agree, Lou. I think this is good. And I'm not just going to call this the upset of the week. I think this has a potential, even though it's week 1, to be one of the biggest upsets of the season.
Of the season?
Of the season. It has the potential. I'm not saying it's going to be. Because there's a lot of potential good upsets later on in the season. But I think this could be one of the bigger upsets. I do not see Dallas winning big, but I can see them winning by a one-possession game. Then I think an interesting one is going to be the Broncos and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson returning to Seattle.
And he's coming from blood. This game isn't even going to be close.
I don't think it is. Because the thing is, you have a man who was part of that 12th man squad. It's not going to affect him. No. That 12th man
is going to be quiet.
No. They're not going to be quiet. They're going to be just as loud as they ever were. But the thing is, it's not going to affect Russell Wilson. He's used to it. He spent how many years in Seattle?
Yeah.
The last, decade?
Yeah, at least.
He's used to it. He knows that it won't bother him. And you now are eliminating one of Seattle's biggest advantages, and that is that 12th man.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Seattle has named Geno Smith the starter over Drew Lock. How long does that last?
3 games max. Geno has never been able to prove himself.
Or it could last a half, because I think if Geno comes out sluggish, you might see Drew Lock the second half of that game.
True.
I mean, if you want to talk a couple years back, about 12 years to be precise, when the Eagles first traded Donovan McNabb, we named Kevin Cobb our starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That same preseason, we signed Michael Vick. Okay? So, Kevin Cobb goes in open day as the starter with Green Bay, gets knocked out with a concussion. So, enter Michael Vick. Michael Vick almost brought the Eagles back and won that game. So, less than a week later, Michael Vick was named the starting quarterback of the Eagles.
Yeah.
So, could you see something like that? Maybe.
But I think we're in for a good week.
Yeah.
I think we're I agree, Miz.
Yeah.
I agree, Don.
I think that's what the over-under is for Seattle this year. I mean,
I don't know how much longer Pete Carroll's gonna. If I've never been a big Pete Carroll fan, I can respect him as a coach. He's a good coach. I mean, he's no Bill Belichick, but I mean, he has been able to succeed at both the college and NFL levels.
one of the few.
Do what?
One of the few college coaches.
Yeah, which is something very few people have been able to do, which is succeed at both the NFL and college levels.
Yeah. My buddy Joe's a Kevin Cobb fan. I don't know why, but Joe, welcome to the show.
So I don't know. Plus Pete Carroll's age is getting up there a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
now with coaches, age isn't that big. No, they have Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
I'll take Lincoln Riley over Pete Carroll any day of the week.
And the college game is so much different nowadays than when Pete Carroll left. It's not even a contest anymore.
He left what? 05?
It's definitely been a while. That's for sure. It's definitely been a while. I think it was before 05. I would say like 02.
No.
Am I wrong?
Let's see. Pete Carroll was named head coach in 2010.
2010? Wow, we're way off.
But I think that's the same year that Russell started.
Possibly? No. Wilson came in 2012, I think.
Yeah, he came in 2012.
Because there was a big debate about that NFL draft. Because there was another certain quarterback that came out that year the Eagles drafted over Russell Wilson.
Let me see here. Yeah, 2012 was his first season.
Yeah, because everyone questioned Russell Wilson's size coming out of college.
Yeah.
He's the first one that was debated if he was too small to be an NFL quarterback. Well, he may have been the second behind Drew Brees. I don't know.
But, and so it's going to be interesting to see what he does. But, I mean, at 33 years old, I mean, he has one Super Bowl win. I mean, and he got it early on in his career.
Yeah.
What was it, 2014, 15?
Something like that.
Something like that. So, but I think we're in overall. I think we're in for a good season.
I think so too.
I think we're in for a good, definitely week one.
Mm-hmm. Joe gets my reference. He knows exactly who I'm talking about. Because Russell Wilson and that guy came out the same draft. The Eagles wound up taking the one that wore number 9, and then Seahawks got Russell Wilson. Are you going to cheat and look it up? I can just tell you who it is.
No, I'm trying to think.
You want to think about it? Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold on with my phone.
Recently.
Do these initials help?
No.
Okay.
Wait.
He went
BDN?
Yep. He went to Arizona for college.
Okay, just tell me who.
Nick Foles.
How does that BD?
I told you, they're Eagles fans. They're going to be biased.
What is BDN then?
Big Dick Nick. That's what.
Why did I even ask?
Yeah, that's what we called him in 2017 when he led us to the Super Bowl, and it just stuck. The man now walks into Philly anytime he wants and gets free views. They even have a statue of Nick Foles outside Lincoln Financial Field from when we won the Super Bowl.
Oh, Lord. But I think that wraps up Fantasy Bros this week, where we talk about all things fantasy and NFL.
Yeah, I mean.
Tune in next week where we'll recap who's hot and who's not after week 1 in the fantasy football leagues. We'll also recap our league score, the Fantasy Bros Fantasy League.
I mean, that's a pretty fair over-under for Baker week 1 versus Cleveland. I give him that.
Yep. So, but that'll wrap up my segment of the show.
I mean, we can keep the ball rolling and keep talking football. I think people.
We definitely can. We could sit here and talk football all night long, and we both know that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had nights playing games where we literally sit here for 3-4 hours talking nothing but football.
Oh, they don't know what goes behind the show that when we prep for stuff.
True. I mean, if we want to, we could. Let's see. We could dig into each. We could go each division.
I mean, if the audience wants to say and talk,
let's look at it. What do you guys think? Should we dig into each individual division real quick? Make our prediction as to who's going to win the division?
All but the NFC East, because we were getting a big fight. I'm going to have to call Stephen A. Smith on my side.
We've already agreed on the NFC East. We've already agreed. It's either going to be Dallas or Philly, and it's all going to come down to the Dallas-Philly matchups.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not only going to come down to the matchups, but it's also going to come down to the differentials.
Yep. We got Lou on board with it. He wants to stay and hang out, so
let's do it. Well, we'll start with the AFC East. The Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. I think that's an easy call. Bills are going to be up top.
Yeah,
they're Super Bowl contender. I think they're going to use their momentum from last year, and I don't think that they're going to let that loss. I don't think they're going to let that late postseason loss get to them. I think they're going to let it drive them this year.
Yeah. Right.
So, honestly, I could see the Bills being a 4-loss team.
Fair assessment. Ooh, going Dolphins. Joe disagrees with you. I mean,
well, are you saying that they're their sleeper that they might win, or are you saying that's who you think is going to honestly win that division?
I mean, every division's a crapshoot. It all depends on injuries, honestly.
I mean, unless you're losing Josh Allen, I don't see the Bills losing this division. That's just me personally, though. But I think it's gonna Jets are gonna lose that division. They're gonna be at the bottom. That's an easy one.
Well, Mitch thinks they're gonna win, so.
And then, but I do think it's gonna be interesting to see. Who's gonna win between the Dolphins and the Patriots?
I mean,
I think this Sunday is going to be a big determining factor of that one.
I mean, I think it's possible that you have at least 2 teams with 10 wins in that division.
Easy.
But Miami could surprise people and come out because Miami has a really good defense.
I think that the Bills are definitely going to be a 10-win team, 100%. Yeah. They're going to be upwards of a 13 to 15 win team.
I'd go middle ground. I'd say 14.
Patriots, definitely 10 win. They could easily go 10-7, 11-6, even 12-5.
Okay.
But I think that's all going to be depending on injuries, not just their injuries, but the injuries of the teams that they're playing. I think Dolphins are going to be. I think they'll fall third. Honestly, I'm thinking a 9-8, 8-9.
So a 500 team. Okay.
Yeah, and then of course Jets. I kind of want to just call it now and say 0-17.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they'll win one or two.
I'll give them one. I'll be nice to give them one.
Then for right now, we're going to skip the AFC West. We'll come back to that because that's the big one. Yep. Blue agrees. Bills, Pats, Fins, Jets.
Yep. Joe has a point, though. Tua could surprise people, so.
And he could. I could be completely wrong with my assessment of Tua and Tyreek. And just Tua not having the power to get Tyreek.
But that's the thing, though. It's not even just Tyreek, because if Tyreek runs people off the ball, you still also got to keep in mind to have Joe and Waddle on the other side.
True.
And a much improved rushing game with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert coming on board.
True. Well, I mean, so I agree, Joseph. Yeah, I agree. At least for the first few games, but once they see that Tyreek isn't going to be a big target because Tua can't hit him deep downfield, you stop taking those guys off of Tyreek or off of Waddle and leave them there. Let's see. AFC North, we have the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. Brown's going to be in the bottom of that one easily.
I personally, I don't think so.
Who do you think is going to lose the division then?
I think Pittsburgh could be a bottom feed this year. Yep.
For the first time in like 15, 16 years?
I mean, I see Mitchell Trubisky getting hurt middle of the season. They bringing in Kenny Pickett, the rookie phenom out of Pitt, and maybe just going for a higher draft pick to rebuild some positions they need.
Possibly. But I think the Browns and Steelers are going to be the bottom two. My projections, Browns in the bottom, Steelers. I don't think any of them are going to go 500.
Wait, the whole division? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Between the Browns and Steelers. I don't think either of those two teams are going to go 500. Then you have the Bengals and Ravens. Those two, I think those are both playoff teams. Because you have, of course, the Bengals. I think they want to prove that they can win a Super Bowl. They want to try to get back to that Super Bowl. Of course, they're going to have to go through Buffalo to do it. And we all know that Buffalo Bengals game in the playoffs, because we know they'll meet. I think everybody anticipates that meeting again in the playoffs. That meeting is not going to be decided by a coin flip this year.
No.
It's not. So when that game happens, be prepared to stay up late.
I'm just waiting some of these up as we go.
But then Raven, I think the Bengals have the potential again. I think the Bengals have the potential again to have a really great season, going 13-4.
I mean,
12-5.
They got team for it.
I think 12-5 is maybe the worst they could do. I'll be surprised if they go 11-6. Ravens, on the other hand, I think they're going to be an 11-6, 12-5 team. They have great weapons, but I think that the Bengals are going to be. They're gonna take those games against the Ravens in their division. So I'm gonna put the Bengals over the Ravens, and me personally, I'm gonna put the Steelers just over the Browns.
Fair enough.
Then you have the dreaded AFC South. Now, somebody please explain to me, how is Indianapolis in the AFC South? It just makes no sense to me. But whatever.
Was it going based off location, maybe? Well, if you want to
Canada, not Mexico.
Okay, well, if you want to ask that question, then here's a throwback question for you, okay? How is the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC East?
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry. Lions,
it's true. But AFC South, we have the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans. This is this is going to be the division of the worst.
The answer to Lou's question, though, real quick, I think the Lions get the most wins out of these three.
Yeah. I agree. But I think the Titans take this division. But I think that they take it at 10-7, 11-6 at best. I think you'll have the Jaguars. They'll do better than they did last year. I think they'll go 9-8. They'll go positive. They'll go plus 500. Colts, I think, will be right along there with the Jaguars. But the Texans, I'm saying, at best, 4-13. At best, 4-13.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. Here's my thing. I got Indianapolis, Tennessee. I think Matt Ryan studies that offense out in Indianapolis. You have an MVP back in Jonathan Taylor, and you have a very dangerous wide receiver trio that Matt Ryan has weapons to throw the ball to.
True.
So,
but then we go to the anticipated AFC West, and we talked about this earlier, and I'm going to stick with it. I think that the Chiefs still win over the Chargers because I think that the Chiefs take that the head-to-head games against the Chargers, and then I think it's going to be the Raiders. No, I'll put the Broncos over the Raiders. But I think honestly, I think that there is an all possibility for 3 of these teams to make the playoffs.
I agree. I think so too. But
so, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Good. Chargers. I know my cousin's gonna be mad at me when I say this, but here's what I think. I think you got the Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, and Broncos, but all 4 teams are 10-win teams. And we lost Sam. Just like that, Sam said, "I'm out." He must not like me. Now, this time of night, he usually gets a phone call. I knew it was coming. Oh, he's back in the flash. Sam, we thought we lost you for a minute.
No, I'm back. But that's my call for the AFC East or AFC West.
Well, here's mine: Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos.
Which I can see, but like I said, I think that 3 of these 4 teams have the potential to make the playoffs. I think we could see 3 teams from the AFC West make the playoffs.
Oh, I agree. But I think the Raiders and Broncos comes down to a head-to-head matchups. And there he goes again. Hi, Sam. So, moving on to NFC East. I mean, NFC East is another coin flip. Sam's back.
Okay. But with that, I need to head out. I'm getting hailed on the telephone. That's why I keep cutting out. So,
but you should know that you're live. Tell her Wednesday nights are off limits. Wednesday night's my night now, okay? She
No,
can have any
I
other
have,
night.
but I also told her we'd be done before she got off work.
Well, she can wait or she can come and stream. Mariah, if you're watching, come and stream. So, you do what you gotta do, Sam. All right, you do you. Bye, Sam. So, Lou wants to know how about the Cowboys in the NFC East and not the Panthers? I mean, that's another good geographical question, but I think these divisions just go based off rivalries more than anything, not so much location. But that is a good argument to make that the Cowboys shouldn't be in the NFC East. What division would you place them in then, Lou? NFC South? Or would you even move them out west and put them in the NFC West? So now I lost my host. We kind of lost momentum with this. So NFC East, like Sam said, is going to be a coin flip between Dallas and Philly. It could go either which way. It all comes down to head-to-head matchups. Whoever can win that pivotal division game. But me being biased, I think Philly takes it. Sam is done for the night, so it's just me. Lou says they out of the South. Okay. So you would take the Carolina Panthers out of the South and move them up to the NFC. No, Dallas to NFC South and Carolina to NFC East, correct? I think that's the just I'm getting from you. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, texting my host who abruptly left, but that's okay. Then moving to the NFC South, you have Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and New Orleans. This one could be another type wide open division, depending on health. But when it all scheme of things, it's going to come down to Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Whatever team can stay healthy. A lot of people would think that Tom Brady should be able to lead Tampa Bay to another division title, but New Orleans the last couple of years has had their number. So it all depends on the health and determination of other team. So I know Lou's going to say Saints all the way. I mean, it's really a toss-up. It depends on who stays healthy the most, or like I said, Lou has Saints, Panthers, Atlanta. I agree with Atlanta and Panthers fighting it out in the basement in that division, and then it's a coin flip really between the Saints and Tampa Bay because for some odd reason the Saints have had Tampa Bay's number the last couple of years. So that will be a very interesting division throughout the season. It could be a dogfight. It could come down to, again, head-to-head matchup. Who wins between New Orleans and Tampa Bay? We shall see. Next, you got the NFC North with Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago. Again, another two-team division race where Minnesota and Green Bay will slug it out like they always do. But I'm calling the upset this year. I think Minnesota wins the division over Green Bay. Just based off the fact that Green Bay is really struggling right now with the wide receiver game. But they also still do have Aaron Rodgers, so another coin flip. I think Chicago finishes in last. I think Detroit can finish third based off of what Dan Campbell is building out there. They're going to have a much better defense with drafting someone like Aiden Hutchinson, second overall from Michigan. Then you have Green Bay, Minnesota. Again, both possibly 10-win teams. But it also falls on quarterback health, who stays healthy, who doesn't. So, but my pick right now is Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago as your division standings. I might be wrong. So, all right, Lou, if I'm wrong, Detroit takes the division. There will be a certain somebody who always pops in this stream, Andrea, who will be very ecstatic, I should say, because she has Detroit winning the Super Bowl in 2075, which is still many years away, but we shall see. And the last division is the NFC West. This one, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. I think Arizona wins the division. San Fran takes second. Who else is in this division? Arizona, San Fran. What team am I forgetting? Arizona, San Fran, Seattle. Who's the 14th in the West? Why can't I think of this off the top of my head? Someone help me. Oh, the Rams. Duh. Never mind. Yeah. It's too late. But okay, going back to retract what I was saying. Rams win the division. Arizona's a playoff team finishing second. Then you have the 49ers finishing third. And then the lonely Seahawks, who could have a really bad year going out west without inconsistent quarterback play with Geno Smith, the week 1 starter, and then Drew Lock backing him up. Like I said to Sam, I think you might see a quarterback switch some point in the season. If not, Seattle's going to be a team to watch for to just forfeit the games and try to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks next year out of the draft, because you have 2 solid college quarterbacks coming out next year with C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, and I forget the other one, but there's 2 quarterbacks that everyone's after in college next year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Seattle try to maneuver a way to get one of those 2. But not saying that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Unless you guys want to keep talking, I'm more than welcome to stay online. But if not, I'm going to sign off and let you know that we have another Friday night movie night coming this Friday night. That one will start at 9:30. I made sure of it. Last week we started at 10:30. It was a little chaotic, but we still had a fun show. And we have more segments coming. I'm going to be hopefully starting on my Saturday streamer show soon, which is going to be one-on-one interviews with different content creators. I know I'm gathering up information and stuff. Plus, I have 2 very special interviews coming in the near future to this channel. I was reached out by a guy from Ann Arbor, Michigan, who is in charge of a music band, who he wants me to interview his musicians on this show. So stay tuned for that. That's a big project coming. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. If you haven't already, make sure you like the page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, or follow us on Twitch. We're live Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'll have a Saturday segment soon. So I hope everyone looks forward to that. And until the next time, I'll say a good night for Sam and a good night for me. Have a good night.